Just for clarity, this is a plastic pot. You can do this sort of thing in a hole in the ground. It's January. Granted, yes, I'm wearing shorts. January in Kansas, and the ground's a bit hard, a little rocky through here, so I'm just doing it this way. Do it easier for video. I've filtered and screened some clay, which if you're gonna do it, you just add water to the hole basically, mix it up till you get the clay to the consistency you want. And any type of dirt will work as long as you can squeeze it and it'll hold its form. That's got clay. So what we're going to do is just keep mixing this until we have a lump of what looks like Play-Doh, more or less. And then what we'll do is wrap a huge sweet potato in the clay, and we'll put it in the fire, bake it. This is it's a technique that was done ages and ages and ages ago. It's been done for virtually forever as far as I know, because everything's readily available. If you've got fire, water, and some clay, and clay is in most places, one form or another. Again, not all resources will be everywhere where you think they ought to be, but that's just how it is. Use what you got. In this instance, if you don't have a chance to make pottery, all right, hopefully I have enough clay. Went out and found a flat rock. Again, this is what will make my life easier. I think I got it thick enough. So you spread on a layer. It could probably sit and be worked some more. But I'm going to put this flat rock on top of a bed of coals, and I'm going to pile everything on top of it. And then we're just going to cook it for quite a while. What this does is it acts like an oven. Helps seal everything in and really keeps the food from burning. I did a roast like this at one point in time, and it was phenomenal. Next up, I'm going to do a chicken like this, depending on the weather and how nice it is. Like I said, it's January and I'm out here in shorts, and it's usually colder than crap, where I didn't really want to play in clay. I guess the natives used to do fish like this. They would gut it, leave the skin on it, wrap it in clay with whatever they wanted inside it, whatever seasonings or whatever they used. They'd wrap it in clay and then kind of set it in the ground and build a fire over it. And that would basically steam it inside the clay, and it'd make it hard to burn it, really, unless the clay burned through or broke through or however it worked out. But they'd take it out, and when they took the clay off, the clay took the skin of the fish with it. Now, after doing the roast and a few other things along this line, I can tell you what, that is excellent. That roast was one of the crappiest cuts of roast that I did, and it's on a previous video. And you could take a fork and stick in it and just twist everything up, and the fibers would just come apart. You could have done a pulled roast with that, and it was the cheapest cut of roast, which I did on purpose. But I'm going to do that again. My little dog, he ignored it when it was wrapped up like this until it finally popped a hole and started venting, and then he was on point. He was a little chow hound, but that's what they're for. All right, now there's the potato. in the clay, and everything's set up. I'm going to leave it sit for a little bit to let some of the moisture come out and let it stiffen up a little more, so when I move it, it doesn't slump, fall apart as easy. Wash all this crap off, get the fire build up and the basic coals build up and all the rocks heated up nice and hot to where we can get this going on the next part of the video. And it'll cook like this for as big as that potato is. I'm probably going to leave it in there for 3 or 4 hours. And it isn't going to hurt it. I'll have to wash it so it doesn't, if the casing cracks or something along that line, I got some extra clay to put in it, because that will burn at that point. So you don't really want that to happen. And kind of make sure everything's kind of smooth and as you can get it. Not that I'm a potter or anything even close to that, but stuff like this, it's easy to do. Anybody, and I mean anybody can do it. There's nothing difficult about it. It's just a matter of getting out and doing it. So there we go. Now I'll get the rest of the prep done. Okay, maybe you can hear the honeybee buzzing around, which is really unusual since this is the last part of January and they're normally holed up because it's cold, but it's not too cold. We have the sweet potato right here, the bed of coals with sticks added on, so that's gonna add there. And then to keep things hot, I'm gonna build a fire up around it, and that'll start getting the potato cooked. Oops, I'll have to put that back up. When you're doing this, the clay's wet, so you kind of want to be careful so you don't damage it. It's starting to take off now. As that fire builds and spreads, it'll turn that clay into basically an oven and cook the sweet potato, and it should be rather nice. The nice thing about doing it like this is even on that huge potato, even if it don't get completely cooked through, you can take off the parts that's done, and what isn't will go into the pot the next day for a soup or a stew or fried on a hot rock, however you want to do it. It's still viable. It's out of the fire. It's pretty hard, as you can tell. I'm gonna let it cool off a little bit, take it over to my brother's where we're kind of having a little get together tonight, so we'll crack it open there and see how it turns out. I drug it out of the fire with a couple of sticks. You can tell it's a lot more solid than what it was. So hopefully everything worked out good. We'll let it finish cooking out because it was a huge potato, and cool off to where you can actually handle it because it is still silly hot. Okay, this is a little after dark, and this was taken out of the fire and brought it over, and you can tell it's pretty hard. It's still actually kind of warm. It's been out of the fire for a couple of hours, so it's just been it is done. It's completely done, completely cooked through. That is probably the moistest sweet potato that I've ever seen. And it's very good. Now to add a little soy sauce, salt, pepper, and it'll be a meal for several people.